Well, welcome to anyone. I don't think we have anybody yet. I saw somebody ducked in really quickly. Um, we'll wait just a couple seconds here. It's an old buddy of mine. So we'll try some new stuff today. Today we're going to be drawing animal. We're going to be drawing a parrot. I have a thing for birds. Don't really know why. Cool. So at least we have one person. At least we can start. Today I'm going to try to draw probably for an hour, depending on how quickly it goes. Start my timer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Let's shrink my face up. Okay. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so drawing in Photoshop today seems to be my go-to program lately. I've been drawing a little bit of everything recently. From character designs to toys to digital sculpting to today I worked on graphic design, so just a very eclectic palette. So we're going to start in Photoshop. I think this is 18 inches high by 10 inches wide today on a colored background. That background's a little bit too dark, so we're going to a little bit too dark. Okay, fill foreground color. Okay, so we're going to add a layer. Today, working with my favorite brush. Zoom in a little bit. I might have to shrink the document a little bit. I don't want any lag, so let's go ahead and make that a little bit size. Make that a little bit smaller. Yeah, so let's do, let's 10. So maybe that'll, yeah, there we go. Not too bad. Okay, so a parrot. I've got something with birds lately. Don't know what it is. Working on my Cintiq. Hopefully you guys have had a great beginning of the first year. It's the first week back of work. It's been hectic. Ouch. Okay, I hope you're all right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Opacity 96%. We're going to boost that up to 100. Okay. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to really loosely position stuff in my composition quickly. That's a little bit too big. Let me position stuff where I want it. You know, you could do this in a thumbnail stage, which I typically do, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys where I was at. Where I wanted to be here. Cute. We're going to get rid of that music just a little bit. It's a little bit too loud. Okay. So, love having the YouTube channel. Give you guys insight onto how I roll with the YouTubes. I like doing the YouTubes. You know, as I said before, not really quote unquote a YouTuber. I don't rely upon this for any income at all. Full disclosure, I've made $136 my entire YouTube career. And I always say, you know, I don't do it for the money, I do it for the love. And then I watch all the guys and gals that are YouTubers. They're making tons of money. You know, it has to make sense. So far, I haven't seen a lot of return. Anyway, what I was getting to. That's up a little bit too far. It's disproportionate. That's what's nice about Photoshop, is you mess things up. You just take the lasso tool here, copy, paste, position him up a bit further, there, down a bit further to the left. There we go. Yesterday, I believe it was, I posted a video. Whoops. I posted a video about doing voices, you know, voice work and stuff. You know, something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And, you know, I posted the video. It's just me reading, you know, being silly and reading some tweets, some Trump tweets. There we go. And, you know, I didn't take it too seriously. You know, I don't bring politics into my channel. If you like the guy, if you don't like the guy, I don't really care. It's not really my business. You know, I don't tell you who I like, I don't tell you who I dislike. It's not, you know, this is an art channel, it's not a politics channel. But I thought it was kind of funny. Because, you know, whenever you read some of that crap, you know, from both sides of the equation, it just, especially if you put a funny voice to it. So I read it as the Joker and Mickey Mouse, because those are a couple of voices that I've done, you know, through my entire life. And, you know, this guy, I don't know who he is, who cares? You know, basically iterated, you know, I thought you were going to do voices, blah, 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 and, which I did. And, you know, actually insulted me pretty hardcore. And I'm like, I don't understand why he would insult me. That doesn't make any sense. You don't know me. You know, basically said my channel didn't have content for people with IQs past 80. So it kind of begs the question. I bet he got the video and then he clicked on it and then, you know, didn't watch any of it. And just saw that, you know, I said Trump tweets, and he's like, I'm going to get this guy because he's got Trump. You know. But if you would have watched it, you probably could have enjoyed it. It was, you know, pretty funny. You know. Anyway, I digress here. So what I'm doing today, obviously, is doing a live stream for you guys. Don't have that many people, if any. Did things a little bit different this time. Actually made the announcement that I was going to do this. And I still really don't have that many people. That's fine. So I'm drawing a gray parrot today. You know, you say parrot, and typically you think, you know, real colorful birds. You know, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. This head's not right. So let's go ahead and we'll do this. And that a little bit out further. Okay. Whoops. Save. You guys notice that I'm wearing a hat today. I don't typically wear hats that much anymore. I used to wear hats. That's all I used to do. Just because my head, you know, it's very sensitive to temperature and stuff. But today I'm wearing a hat because my hair, I need a haircut really bad. It's out of control. Just so you guys know, so I don't scare you. See all that? Oh my! So, if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anybody who wants to know anything about the biz, how to get in the biz, how to stay in the biz once you're in the biz. This goes way down here. Okay, so turn that around. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Actually, right down here. This goes here. Okay. I like that silhouette a lot. Yeah. Yeah. If you notice, I'm trying to develop a composition right now to kind of lead your eye. You see he's pointed this way, so I've got this entire kind of curve that comes in. I'm going to have it this come right here. It's going to have a nice dark, like that, kind of staying out of that corner. And then we're going to have this, all these fronds are going to be pointing in towards the bird. And then you're going to have this element right here, and all this back here is going to be darker. Right? We got some fronds here, just for shape. I'm going to draw a couple of those in. Okay, so now we're getting down into the meat and structure of the bird. Oops. Itself as I develop. Trying to fix the anatomy here. Got this leg that comes here, comes out. Here. Comes around. I'm not so much a bird artist. I do like drawing them. Not really sure why. Right? Okay. I'm going to have this here. I'm going to have some of the feathers come out here. And then come down. He's kind of tilted. So he's got that other leg kind of tucked behind because he's got his weight. He's pushing forward right here. And it's like he's holding on with this foot. And then he's putting weight on this back foot. He's got that bulk of his weight right there. So we're going to have that other foot right here. We're going to have this come down right here, here. Have that come down a little bit. Okay. And I've got his big feathers. I said I didn't want to draw on my little thing that I did yesterday about, I told you I was going to do a drawing video today, streaming. I said that I was not going to do fur. And I don't. I don't want to do fur. So instead, I'm doing something with wings. Right? Comes down right there. Okay, good. And these come down. Okay, that's all in shadow. Okay, some texture down. Got the tree right there. Okay. I did work a while back for Margaritaville, and if anybody's ever been to Margaritaville, you know that it's got a specific look and lifestyle. I really enjoy doing stuff with them. You know, did a parrot, of course. Oh, got an issue. I can see that already, so that needs to come down. Eraser. I'm going into my eraser. Comes down. You know, in this stage, I've had people question, "Gosh, man, you just use that eraser boldly." Yeah, because we're in the very rough stage right now of the artwork. Actually, do I have that on a quick key? No. Anyway, so let's go ahead and go back. Okay. Just get this grouping. Comes out from his mouth. Actually, it's a plane. Comes here. Comes around. Then it tapers off, and it goes around here like that. And he's got this little fur patch that comes here. And it goes like that. Like that. Hello, Matt. Hello, Banger 355 TW. It's been here a while. Thanks for sticking around. Anyway, what I was saying with regards to the whole voice thing, just having fun. You know, that's what I tried to iterate was, you know, not so much talking about politics or anything like that. Just having some fun. Okay, so we're going to save that. I can tell that I have some issues over here that I'm going to have to deal with because I haven't put the other feather on. So here's his little shoulder that's kind of hidden. And what I do a lot of times is, especially whenever I'm in this stage, I feel like I'm sculpting it. So I really have to start thinking about form. I'm not thinking about light. I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm just trying to fix my anatomy right now. Trying to get the best anatomy representation that I can. So he's kind of twisted a little bit. You know, his chest is kind of turned this way. His head's kind of turned and going over. And then, as far as his other feather goes, other feather comes out like that. Hopefully, I don't have any issues with the internet. We've been having a massive wind, lots of wind today. I live up in the mountains, and you know, probably about 2,700 feet, 2,900 feet. 2,200 feet, and occasionally we have you know, the wind just comes and it whips. It's not bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start thinking about what I want to do in the background. Okay, and having all these shapes, these dark shapes that are really going to help define where stuff is. So, okay, so he's got a chest, comes out, I have that a little bit more pronounced, I think. Right? Yeah, I still think this is an African, I believe an African gray parrot, yeah. That's what I'm drawing today. I think this eye is a little bit too big. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of define stuff a little bit in the background here, just to kind of frame him up, accentuate his silhouette a little bit better. All right. Before I start redoing, I need to have that feather grouping come down, just kind of pan out right here, because that's where some of the color's going to be, because he's red. He's got this beautiful red plumage underneath. It's absolutely gorgeous. And all these feathers seem to be sticking out a little bit more. So, and two, at this stage what I can do is these feathers, right, each feather grouping it's layered on top of each other, so I can draw these construction lines a little bit better to help follow where that feather grouping is going to go. And this needs to come out further right here. Okay, not bad. Alright, so now I will basically come here. I'll go ahead and put it on transparency. Start redefining the sketch a little bit more. You have snow. No snow. It's been cold. We did have snow a little bit for about 5 minutes. Which was, you're like, yeah, snow, woohoo! Because around here, whenever it snows, literally the town, depending on how hard it is, the town shuts down pretty hardcore, which is nice, Okay. No snow. It's been chilly though. I think that eye's going to be too big, and it's going down. I don't want it going down. I want it going up a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. With parrot, or this particular parrot eye, and I've noticed this because I've drawn parrots a couple times. They, the lid. The conventional, whenever you draw an eye, you'll have it like this, and it'll go over, and you'll have that lid up here, and you have some baggage down here, right? So with parrots, it's like the bone structure is like right there, and then you have, go ahead, do this out. And this comes kind of like down here, right? I have the feathers, that feather grouping kind of smooths out, and it becomes a different type of feather. So you've got these, I don't know the name of the feathers, right? But they are different than, like, as far as little nostril right there. He's got these little itty bitty furry feathers that go around, right? And this comes down to his mouth. Okay, this comes out. Right, this comes down. Okay, always checking to make sure where I am in the context of the drawing here, and then it comes here, it goes like that. Okay, now I've got this piece, this kind of bone part of his beak. Right, it comes here, I can kind of sculpt it just a little bit. Speaking of sculpting, anybody be interested in me doing some stuff in ZBrush? That is a program that I use quite a bit in toy design. Do some quick sculpting. Okay, here. It comes up. It's partially hidden. Okay. He's got all these feathers, this feather grouping that comes down. Yeah. It's very cool how it comes out and over and out. Yes, I do have reference. Here's my reference. So it's not matching, I'm just using it as reference. Don't be a slave to your reference. Yeah, I don't think I've ever never streamed the 3D content. Maybe just a simple sketch, something really simple. I use ZBrush much more than I used to. I'm still, I would say, a novice at it, even though I use it in a professional capacity. I'm a proficient novice, put it that way. You know, I know how to create stuff for 3D printing. I know the process of 3D printing. I know getting stuff ready, and the fact that I've done a lot of drawing in my life, and I've done a lot of sculpting in my life. It's really been just an easy, you know, segue over to doing 3D sculpting, and I'm pretty fast at it, which is really cool, which is always nice. Some feathers here, a little bit more detailed than I wanted to be. Okay. It's kind of crusty. It's got some crust on it. Yeah, I'll do some 3D modeling for you guys. I used, believe it or not, way back in the day, I used something called Cinema 4D. I'm sure it still exists. I haven't looked it up. It was challenging. Yeah, I did some simple animations. I did some, you know, I didn't do any modeling in it, like sculpting. Okay, this goes here. Okay, so now, since this is kind of going to be a looser, you know, piece, as I progress through, I'm sure that it'll get looser and looser as I go through and start drawing in these feathers. Right? Okay, so the feather groupings, there's different feather groupings. Obviously, the bird, you know, every bird has different, you know, the way their feathers are done. Parrots, I'm sure, are no less complex than, you know, other birds. I just don't know. I don't know the names of the feathers. I did watch a really cool documentary on owls and how certain species of owl, whenever they fly, they create zero sound. It's rather impressive. I mean, they did the testing on it, you know, with super sensitive microphones, and the way the feathers were on the wings and on the inside of the wings and on the bird himself, it's absolutely, there's no sound coming from the bird in flight, which I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So you guys, you can see that I'm just giving an indication of where the feathers are. I'm not going in and doing this, because that's, you know, that's not what this drawing is about. I have to have, there's always a balance, you know, in terms of detail. And this is one of the things that you have to always, you know, as an artist, it's your job to really determine how much detail and how much rendering is going to go in the piece, and, you know, when and where, or not when, but where, aesthetically speaking, you're going to kind of make your stand and put the detail in where you want to. And that makes sense. You know, I'm not going to go over here, I'm not going to do, you know, the plant with super detail, because it's a background element. So we're going to have to draw. These feathers are really cool. There's a lot of them. Jeez, so many feathers. And right now I'm just giving an indication, a really simple indication actually, of of how these feathers are constructed and how it breaks up as the bird is bending and contorting. Ugh. A little arduous. Feathers, so many feathers. Okay, so now I get down here. I can start having a little bit more freedom with regards to. Okay, so I got a bunch of little feathers up here that are going to come in. That's grouping. All right. What do you recommend to do for starting with a tablet for a new user to get used to it? It depends on what kind of tablet it is. If, let's say, you have access to a Wacom Cintiq, similar to what I'm on, or let's go and go back. You know, for those of you who own iPads or those devices and you're watching, hopefully you'll agree with this, is it's time spent, right? Time spent on the device. If you're drawing on a tablet, just know that it's there to slow you down. In the beginning. You know, there's a learning curve about the operating system. There's, you know, things you have to do, learn the programs. You know, all that stuff takes time, and it's just time on the device. That's all. Everybody asks me, what's the best tablet? The one you're currently using. You know, for the longest time, you know, I wanted that catch-all device that you basically think can solve all your problems because, you know, as a digital artist, you want to be able to draw and not have it, you know, die on you in the field. You want it to be incredibly pressure sensitive. You want, you know, be able to do all of your programmings, you know, your programs. You want it to be easy and portable, easy to use, battery life for days. But the realistic viewpoint is, you know, that one device that kind of solves all your issues does not exist right now. You know, I think probably the closest one is going to be one of the all-in-ones, you know, like a PC or HP or Dell or one of those products that basically you're able to run full applications on it. Now, can you do wonderful things with iPads? Yeah. And Procreate? Yeah. And it's getting better every single update. And I highly recommend, if you haven't tried an iPad, go to the Apple Store, try an iPad, because I remember the first time I tried one, I hated it. Because it hadn't landed yet. You know, it hadn't landed yet. It still had a lot of cooking to do. So, you know, back in the day, whenever I first started doing this illustration thing, I didn't have a, you know, $2,000 tablet, or I didn't have a Cintiq. I had, you know, your Intuos tablet. You know, it's basically you have it in front of you, and you have your screen in front, and you draw, and you look at the screen while you draw. So you're not actually looking at what you're drawing. And it took a long time. It took about 2 weeks to learn how to use one of those. And it was so frustrating. I remember first starting out on those, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hate it. And then, you know, of course, once you start getting into it, just like anything, you become used to it, and you adapt. But yeah, just time spent with the device, time spent learning how to use the program. Because you know, I tell this to students. You know, back when I was teaching, I would always say, you know, device, even though it is a tool, in its current state, it's there to really slow you down. You know, one of the best things you can do as an artist is learn how to use a pencil first. I've known illustrators and digital people that, you know, of course they know how to use a pencil, but doing traditional drawing with a pencil sometimes confounds them. It's hard. And that's one of the things that it's kind of looking like a dodo, so I need to take this. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you zoom out. You're like, holy moly! So its head's a little too big. And here we go. It needs to be tilted up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Put some more feathers down below. Okay. Good, good. See, zoom out. Much better. Shrunk that head up a little bit. He was starting to kind of look like a weird animal. Yeah, draw with a pencil. I used to tell students, I say, you know what? This device, and I would hold up an iPad or, you know, whatever device that I had at the time in my hand, and I say, this is not an easy button. You have to learn this. It's there to slow you down. If you want the most incredible experience of drawing, draw with a pencil. I still do that. I still draw with a pencil all the time because I love it. So we're going to put a little bit of texture in here. So right now I've got, as far as my brush goes, you guys see that I really don't jump around with my brushes. I do have a lot of brushes. You know, that's just one folder of a lot of brushes. And what I find is when I'm in this stage, I don't really switch up brushes a lot. I like this brush because it's got texture to it. It's got nice, you know, pressure sensitivity. Of course, I control the pressure sensitivity to it, but you know, it's just nice. It's a nice brush. As I go through and I put just a little indication of shadow, and you know, you guys see it's going pretty quick. As I started out, you know, and you're going to have a little bit more darks through here because of just the way, you know, the feathers open up. They open up as it comes down, so you need to remember the directions of how they're opening because you can see underneath some of them. Like right down here, you get some darkness. Good. Okay, not bad, not bad. One of the things that helps me too is whenever I'm doing a piece like this, I don't know why, put a little bit of eye shine right there. For some reason, ooh, nice, yeah. And then I have a little bit of, to kind of give him that lively quality. Okay, so I've got some feathers need to come down here. Alright, you guys know I love my devices, you know, they're great, but they are not an easy button. You know, I always say, get the principles, get the foundation down, you know, do things. Hey Mike, do you have any advice? I want to be a character creature designer. Yeah, you know, observe life, read a lot of stories, watch a lot of movies, develop your eye for storytelling. You know, that in combination with, you know, drawing all the time, learning anatomy, learning different types of anatomy. You know, one of the things that I always like to do is combine, different types of animals. So, I remember somebody talking to me and saying, you know, I never have any inspiration. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Inspiration? You're surrounded by it. You're surrounded by inspiration. And they're like, oh, what? And it's so true, because you have inspiration everywhere you go, from the people that you meet to the stories that you read. And, even today, I'm looking at this particular bird, and as I look at it, I can see an issue again. So that's what happens. You zoom out and you see an issue. See, copy, paste, and there we go. See, it jumps out to you when you zoom out a little bit. There we go. And I would always say, the students, one of the things that you can really do is sow into yourself. Take the time, read a book, pick an animal. I used to pick an animal every month, and I would start learning how to draw that animal. And animals are a great base to start, and learning the anatomy are a great place to start drawing creatures. One of the things that you have to remember whenever you draw creatures is a lot of them are products of their environment, and the way they look is dictated to where they live. You're not going to have you're not going to have a furless monkey in the Arctic. So, that's one of the things that I always iterated, whenever I had an assignment, for my students, whether it dealt with character design, I would always, ask them, who is this? Where did they come from? What's their background? And it's a layer. It's a layer upon layer upon layer that really helps build that character up and helps define how he looks. Hopefully that's an answer to your question. Look at other artists too. Look at what they've done. I always say, stand on the backs of those that came before you, especially when it comes to art. A lot of times you can learn a lot from the way, even you guys are watching me today, learning a lot from those that have gone before you, and that's important. All right, so what we're doing now is I'm basically zooming in and out. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm defining this front leg. I'm obviously having issues with it. So now, since I'm having an issue with it, I'm going to break it down to its basic shape, which is kind of this triangle form. This triangle shape. And I've got the back of his leg that comes under, and then he's got a feather grouping that comes here. It comes round. Okay, a little bit of texture in there. Goes round. And that back there is all going to be red. Okay, so now he's got... Thanks for the help. Huh, no problem. Also, there's a lot of books out there, because I'm an avid book collector. There's a lot of great artists out there. One of them, if you're interested in doing creatures, Terrell Whitlatch has a series about the science behind creature design, and also the science or the anatomy behind creature design. And you can definitely see she has a really great handle on anatomy of real animals in our world, and she applies it to doing creature design. Highly recommend her. I don't know her personally, but I have her books, and they're wonderful. Terrell Whitlatch. Books aren't cheap. Okay, don't expect to pay $5 for them. I said before, you pay for performance. And that's one of the things that will help you as illustrators, artists, and designers. Okay, so this up here, we got a lot of feathers. These are little details. And again, I'm not going in and getting real mired down in the minutia of the, the feathers per se. I'm just giving an indication of where stuff is. You can tell I'm kind of, this whole area right here I've been putting off because it's just so many feathers. Ugh. But I'm not going to go in and draw all of them, because it's like the less you do, the better it looks. It's kind of counterintuitive to what I'm trying to accomplish here. But yeah, the less you do, the better it looks. All right. So you guys see, now quick keys are very important. And I've said this before. Where are we at in time? I've said this before that, oh, not too bad. We're at 44 minutes. I've almost got the entire bird done in. Quick keys. So that's, I think one of the things that you can really benefit from, instead of going up here, over here to this tool right here, which basically, is the hand. It's the hand, talk to the hand. I hit the space bar, and the space bar helps me move my document around. And to zoom in and out, I'll click on spacebar command option all at once, so then I can zoom in and out, right? So that really speeds up my workflow and helps me not think about the program dynamics. See, if I'm not thinking about the program dynamics and how I'm interfacing with the program, then I have the ability to concentrate on the artwork. Right? That makes sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to darken this over here. Okay, so now I need to finally address the elephant in the room. Okay, so that is right there. And it kind of folds in and under. And then his talon comes here. So talon, it's got talons. And another talon comes right here. Right there. Right? I think somebody just called me. Nope. Nope. Okay, here. What is your favorite style or kind of models to draw? Models. I suppose you're talking about, are we talking about 3D? Are we talking about life drawing models, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe artworks? What kind of stuff? I'm an animal guy. It just so happens that I've had the opportunity to draw a lot of character art, right? Licensed character art. And, being and doing character art, I'm not feeling this, guys. This is, it happens. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try to go through here. Okay, so got that talon right here. We got it right there. And here's the edge of the log. I like doing toys a lot. That's a lot of fun. One of the things that I had the opportunity to draw recently was stuff for Jim Henson's company. That was a lot of fun. And of course I've done, a lot of Harry Potter artwork. I've done Mickey Mouse. I've done a lot of stuff for Disney. just a myriad of character types. I'm not really an anime guy. I've never been an anime guy. Nothing against anime per se. I've just never been an anime guy. You know, I see the value in it for some people. You know, some people are like, you know, obsessed with anime, and that's, you know, whatever. Okay, we're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and push that background just a little bit further back. Okay, so now what I like to do, okay, so that looks good. So I can already tell you that right here, okay, you see how that whole curve comes down? And this is very important. So now I'm going to take this, and you can see this is kind of pushed this direction because his weight is pushing on that leg. That's the leg that is pivoting, and he's holding on. So basically, all the weight's right there. This one right here, since he's turning this way, this one he's holding on to the log, right? So now I'm going to make my pencil just a little bit larger because I want to put value in here to kind of push it forward, right? And give it a little bit of perspective. Right. All right. My watch says time to stand. It's time to stand, bro. I typically have it set to where I stand every 20 to 30 minutes. It's already gone off twice. Because we're at 46 minutes, I believe. So, okay, and we have the feathers that come out here. One line, you have a gallery of your works. Yes. If you go to my main page, and make sure you guys, if you like the video that you're watching right now, make sure you like it because it pushes it up in the streaming order. So we get more views, we get more interface, you know, we get more people looking at the stuff. If you go to my page, the main page on YouTube, and you look over on the right hand side, you'll see a little icon that says CoreFlow. CoreFlow is an online portfolio hosting site, and it's got years worth of my stuff up there. I use CoreFlow because it's free and I don't really have to worry about stuff, and it's a great resource. I've gotten quite a few jobs from it. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the taper. That's the taper icon right here up top. Okay, so now it goes to a flat brush. I'm going to push that back, the opacity, and I'm going to start putting in a little bit more value and texture, like my beak. Okay. Right? Okay, I'm going to put a little bit in here. Good. Okay. Just putting a little indication of, not shadow per se. I call it local color, but whenever something's gray or dark, you know, you're just going to put it in. Nice. Okay. Good. Okay, so I had spoken in my video, little advertisement about doing photo bashing, where you take, you know, existing photos and you manipulate them, but you manipulate them in Photoshop, and you, you know, it's a very quick way to get very nice results. It's used in the gaming industry a lot, and it definitely has merit. Some of the really incredible, you know, you'll create a 3D environment, you know, maybe in Blender or one of those, you know, those programs. And then you come back and you start doing texture overlays and texture mapping and putting in, you know, these photographs to really flesh out that 3D environment very quickly. I might put a texture down here, but I'm not going to full out, you know, put feather textures in the bird. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so let's go ahead and okay, so the gray parrot has a myriad of, I'm going to go up to 100%. Okay. It has a myriad of different gray hues, gray tones. Well, grays doesn't really have any color. But if you do like a warm gray or a cool gray, then, you know, obviously you need to be considerate of what's going you know, on in the color palette of the bird. You know, like the head. The head has, gosh, I'm seeing yellow, I'm seeing blue, I'm seeing purple. And two, you know, one of the things that you have to consider whenever you do a piece like this, especially if you stick them in an outside environment, this particular bird is going to be in a jungle. So the jungle is loaded with color. It's got green, it's got blue, purple, but most of the time that green, all that reflected light is going to go on the bird. But right now what I'm doing is I added a layer over here on the right hand side, and I'm just going to block in the gray really quick. There's obviously other ways I could do this, but just for time's sake, you know, go ahead and just put it in. And I like using the texture because it adds, again, to the authenticity of it. I can obviously, you know, if I took this over here and I went like this, you know, and then added, you know, you know, which I might just do just for speed. I didn't want to have this video go over an hour, because again, I'm just trying it out, testing the waters as far as live streams go. Okay, and then edit fill and foreground color. Okay, that's good. And then I'll do another layer right here, and maybe I'll do a darker color, mid-tone brown. Right, so just, you know, good. Okay. Ah. Since it's under that gray, I can just go ahead and go through that. Edit, fill, foreground color. A little dark. A little bit too dark. So I'm going to go back, brightness contrast. We're going to line that up just a little bit. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so now, just for the fact that, you know, sitting down and drawing the background, that's not really, was never in my plans. So what I did was I downloaded some, okay, I downloaded some pictures. So I really like this one a lot. Okay, so we'll go copy, okay, and then paste. Yay. Instant background. So image, okay, filter, and Gaussian blur. So now we'll just really go in and have some fun. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to put some light effects back here. I'm going to make it warm. Let's do warm hue. Let's do the airbrush. Let's walk to the airbrush. Okay, so I'll go blur again. Gaussian blur. Kind of directs the eye a little bit better, right? So let's go ahead, overlay, soft light, darken screen, darken multiply. Let's just do normal. Okay, so now over this, I will do a little bit warmer, a little bit orange. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Overlay. Nice. Okay. That is a temporary background. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, let's go ahead and save the document. I'm going to start putting in some of the value, I'm sorry, not value, but I'm going to start putting in some of the color. I forgot a spot right there. That happens. Whoops. Local color. Okay. All right. Good. Where are we at? Oh, I think we got 1 or 2 people. Then we got 4 people? 6. Cool. Better than nothing. That's what I say. Okay. Local color. So basically, I'm going to determine in certain areas, it's kind of a yellow, kind of a pale yellow. Here we go. Without any lights or darks on there. Okay. There's a lot of different colors in this bird. Oh my gosh, it's purple. So if you guys see, I've got my brush going, right? And you can tell, let's go ahead and get a lighter color. You can tell whenever I put it on the canvas that, you know, with all my layers on the right hand side, this particular shape, you can see, this is where I want all of my color to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and what's called lock the transparency. Now, there's a couple ways that I can do this. I can lock the transparency. So now whenever I draw, no matter what I do, it won't go outside of that shape. Now, that's great and all well and dandy, but if I want to go ahead and have my color on a different layer, I'll add a layer. I'll use my quick key. I'll hit Control. I'll click. And then what I can do is create a clipping mask. So now I have control over, it's kind of the same look, but now I can go in and I can change what I'm doing with that particular value. But just for purposes of keeping the local color there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, okay, so we're going to have gray, but we're going to have a cooler gray. So we're going to come all the way up here with a little bit of a purple. Okay, and it's going to be right about there. Okay, so you can see, right, it's a little bit too purple. Let's go back here, cool. Yeah, it's going to be more like that. It's kind of like a slate. Okay. Okay, so then, and this is going to be much lighter, it's going to be warm. So we're going to come up here, it's going to be kind of in the yellow hue spectrum, a little bit warmer up here. Okay. His whole face is like this, right? And I'm not going to go in and get into the feathers per se, let's do his whole head. Right? Okay. And I'm just literally just blocking in the value. I'm not value, I'm blocking in the hue using my local color. It's not really, you know, a highlight so as much as it is a color of the fur. See, that's one of the things you always have to remember, right? You have color of light, which will affect the way things look. You have local color, which is the color of an item without any lights or darks on it. And then you have shadow, which is the absence of light. So all of these things, especially if you have the way you're doing things in the system, way you're doing things, I'm just putting in some of that local color, right? Looking at it, over here, even though I know it's not purple. Down here, there's some really cool colors down here. These are all like bluish. Right, they're all blue. Right here, and it goes to a different color. Okay. Good. Okay. Oops, I forgot something. See, talking to you, I forgot something. So I'm gonna go back to my sketch. Oh, you can see I painted on the wrong layer. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Where are we at? I don't know, because my alarm's going to go off. Okay, so we got about 25 minutes. Hopefully we can crank something out here in the next 25 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my sketch because I forgot something. Let's go ahead and put our taper on again. Right? Okay, so let's make sure we're on the right layer. Good. So, no big deal. No big deal. Okay. Kind of a fuzzy on the end. We got little fuzzies. Fuzzies on the end. Okay. So let's go back. This is locked transparency. We're going to unlock it. Now we're going to go to red. Now remember, we're doing local color. So I'm just doing good. Nice. Anyway, so what I was saying before as far as doing character work and stuff like that, I think what a lot of people, oh, that's beautiful, that red, oh, I think a lot of people, especially after talking with a lot of the students, they really have a desire to get into the business, but really understanding, what it takes to be consistent, to be, a value to who hires you. It's a challenge. Whoops. Okay, so I need to look at my reference really quick, and I need to go ahead and put in some of that. A little bit lighter here, a little bit lighter there. Good. Okay, good. Alright, so I need some blue in this area. So let's go ahead and do... Now this is a situation right now, and I'm going to show you why. So if I go in with a blue, and that's really harsh, I don't want to do it, but I want to be able to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to go ahead and create a clipping mask. Again, I'm not going to have any issue getting outside the lines here. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in, okay, we're going to push that back. We're going to take the taper off. So I just want to go in and I want to put in some of the blue in this area. And I'm going to show you guys here, because Photoshop, again, is wonderful in this instance, because I can have the freedom and the flexibility to go as fast as I want. And I'm not doing this, right? I'm just sprinkling. I'm sprinkling it in. Hello, Shimon. Shimon. I can't see. I'm too far away. Shimon. Sorry if I murdered your name. Don't feel bad. Everybody murders my name. You'd think Michael. No. The last name. Don't even try. Good luck. But my apologies if I had done anything to your name. Okay, so now we have, okay, so good. It's okay. Well, you're very considerate, especially after today. I had that one person. Oh, people are so funny. Okay, so now we're gonna go, and we're gonna go a little bit. There we go. Evacuated for a second time. SAG. I guess that's the Screen Actors Guild. Okay, so again, I'm changing the color up a little bit because there's a lot of colors in there. Gosh, that I hadn't seen before. Purples and blues, you know, just a myriad of stuff, you know. Okay, we're going to go in here, put a little bit of value on top, a little bit here and there. Okay. So now what's really cool is I have complete control over how this layer acts. So I can go down and I can put it on a color layer, and then I can adjust the intensity, transparency, and then whenever I'm done, I can go in and I can just flatten it down, which is really cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to do some shadows first. So let's go ahead and we'll do, again, we'll create a clipping mask. So the shadows in this particular environment are going to be cooler. So we're going to have, I like using kind of a purple hue and a little bit blue. Right about there. And we're going to go multiply for this, because every single time it basically multiplies the darks. Okay, so we're going to go right here. We're going to have the taper off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start blocking in some of the shadows. With the pressure sensitivity, I can go as light or as dark as I want to. See that? So really light and then dark. I'm pressing really hard and then light again. So I'm just basically, right now, I'm going to start pushing and pulling. It's like you're pushing back certain areas of the drawing and you're pulling certain and allowing other parts of the drawing to go forward. So unfortunately my tilt, where's my tilt? Tilt, angle, tilt. Where's my tilt, baby? Okay, so let's go down here. See, what I do sometimes, well, most of the time, what I'll do, says, what tablet do you use? Currently, I'm on my Mac, and I'm using a Cintiq 22 high definition, 22 HD. I've had it for quite a while. Still works great. I know that there's, you know, ProPen 2 technology with 15 billion levels of pressure sensitivity. Snap! You know, I haven't used one of those because, you know, I don't have $3,000 to pluck down on a tablet like that. So I've just used this one. I think there's 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. I use, I have a myriad of tablets, guys. I've got 2 iPad Pros. I've got an HP ZBook X2 G4. I've got a Dell Inspiron all-in-one that uses Wacom tech. Wonderful computer. I have a Surface Book. I have used a Surface Pro. I have used just, you know, a lot of different devices that help me, you know, get the job done. My go-to, though, is this. This is my go-to. So what I'm doing right now is I'm basically rendering and putting in some shadow value here and there to help define the form a little bit better. You know, in this type of environment, he is, you know, he's got a lot of light around him. So it's kind of a washout, you know, it's not real dramatic. So that's one of the things you have to learn. You know, if I had the light coming down this direction, you know, maybe you would have, you know, this would go like this, and it would be real dramatic, and, you know, and then you have the highlight right there. But I don't have that. So it's the subtleties that make this piece really cool. So, I wish I had an iPad Pro. Well, what you can do, there's a lot of great opportunities out there to get these devices. You know, iPad Pro is great. The only problem with the iPad Pro is it's expensive, and it's not. I used to say it wasn't a pro level device, but it is. You know, I use it for pro level work all the time. You can only use, I think, usability. I mean, there is Photoshop, there is Fresco, there is Procreate, and it's getting better. But I think it's still a little ways off from being an amazing all-in-one. You know, could I sit there and do, oops, see, talking to you guys. Let's go ahead, we'll do a layer, clipping mask, multiply. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Whoops. Good. Little shadow right here. No, I like black. But yeah, iPads are good. I use iPad for a lot of sketch work, and I'm currently doing a children's book on it. Really cool device. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with that so far. Just something simple. Let's go back. A lot of times too, if you don't know where the shadows are and you're having a hard time with stuff and you don't really, you know, understand how that whole process works of finding out where the shadows are and the forms and stuff like that, squint your eyes. If you squint your eyes, it levels everything out into lights and darks, and it really pushes the lights and darks a lot more. Okay, so now we're going to do some highlights. So I'll go ahead and get my all the way to the front. See, now we're all the way to the front. Okay, I'm going to be leaving soon. 15 minutes. Okay, thanks. That's my bride. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll finish this in a time lapse for you guys, and I'll post it on YouTube as a continuation of this, similar to what I did with the hyena. You know, I want to get this a little bit more because it's starting to look pretty cool. So I think that's what I'm going to do for today. I've been on for an hour and almost 16 minutes. You know, hopefully you guys got something out of this today. Hopefully you enjoyed the process. You know, so now what I'm going to do is basically I'll put the taper back on. All the little highlight thingies, all the fur, all the feathers, right? You know, just really that nice highlight that goes right here on beak. You've got this nice highlight right here, right? So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish it up on time lapse for you guys, so you can watch it at your leisure. You can stop it, and hopefully, you know, in the future, I'll have you know, a little bit more time to be able to, you know, put into these things, and you guys can really, you know, dig your teeth into this stuff and have a lot of fun doing character work and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you guys. We will see you soon. Go out and draw something today, tomorrow, whenever, and we'll see you soon. Thank you guys.